Okay, first I would like to extend greetings to Ajahn Brahmavangso, Ajahn Brahmali, and any of the others there who are known to me. I feel honored that I was invited by Ajahn Brahmali to make a short video in order to extend my felicitation to you for holding this conference and to share a few thoughts with you. I understand that the theme of the conference is mindfulness and conflict. And I think this is an extremely important undertaking, an important theme, because we often think of mindfulness as a purely inward practice, as being the mainstay of our meditation practice, in which we're attempting to resolve inner conflict. But I also think it's important today to place a new or fresh emphasis on extending mindfulness outwardly in order to know, to become aware of, and to understand what is taking place in the world today. And when we extend mindfulness outwardly with sensitivity and with sampajanya, with clear comprehension, then we will also understand the most effective way to respond to the situations that we encounter. As you all know, one of the main themes of the Buddha's teaching is the problem of dukkha, the problem of suffering. And when we look at the world today, we are really clobbered by the full extent, the full range, and the terrible depths of suffering in today's world. And so we need to marshal what I would call an ethical response to the suffering, a response that on the one hand draws upon the deep insights and the fundamental ethical principles of the original teachings of the Buddha, yet at the same time is modulated to respond effectively to the suffering that we encounter in today's world, the unique and special forms of suffering that prevail in today's world. And when we look out at the world today, what I find, what strikes me most, is the way so many forms of terrible suffering that people have to undergo stem from forms of social and economic injustice. We find suffering due to persistent and misguided military adventures, suffering due to the wide gulf between the extremely wealthy few and the impoverished masses, suffering that arises from racism, from bigotry, from social exclusion, the suffering of extreme poverty and chronic hunger, and now all of these types of suffering being exacerbated by accelerating climate change. When we think of the ways that we could respond to the suffering, ways that would be in accord with the teachings of the Buddha, I see two primary factors involved, what I might call the two vectors of an appropriate response. One stems from the foundation of loving kindness or metta. Loving kindness is the wish for the well-being and happiness of others. And when we see and witness the suffering of others, then loving kindness gives rise to compassion. Compassion is the quality that makes the heart shake and tremble with the suffering of others, and which gives rise to a deep urge to deliver beings from suffering, to establish them in well-being and happiness. The other force that I see going along with love, with loving kindness, is what I call the imperative of justice. Sometimes it's said that justice is a concept foreign to original Buddhism, but I have to disagree with this. In fact, I see justice to be one of the nuances of the Pali word Dhamma. And the way I understand justice in relation to global suffering is that justice is based upon the intuition that all human beings have intrinsic dignity, intrinsic value, and are therefore entitled to be treated in ways that respect that intrinsic value, in ways that will foster the development, the unfolding of the positive potentials of people, which are suppressed, distorted, and misdirected when people are treated with bigotry, when they are repressed, and when they are afflicted by the various types of social and political injustice. And so when we have compassion merging with the commitment to justice, what arises is what I call conscientious compassion. Conscientious compassion is not just a beautiful feeling of concern for others in the heart, but rather conscientious compassion is based upon a deep identification with others, motivated by a concern to protect others and to secure their inherent worth and dignity, to give them the opportunity to flourish and unfold their potentials. When I reflected upon what I saw as the moral imperative of Buddhism in the 21st century some years ago, I wrote an essay that was published in the magazine Buddha Dharma, and as that essay spread amongst my own students, together we decided to form an organization that we called Buddhist Global Relief. We started with a narrow focus on direct food aid, but as we developed, we came to see that it was necessary to tackle the root causes of hunger and malnutrition. And one of the things we learned was that one of the sustaining causes of poverty and hunger is the subordinate status of women and girls in many traditional societies. And so we started to expand our projects to include supporting programs that will enable poor girls to remain in school and continue with their education. Another aspect, related aspect of our projects is to support right livelihood projects for women so that women can earn more to support their families. And now, with the increase of climate change, and so we've been sponsoring many projects around the world that support small-scale farmers, enabling them to learn ecologically sustainable models of agriculture. Our projects have a wide range across the world. We're truly a global organization. You know, we have projects in China, Vietnam, Cambodia, Sri Lanka, India, several countries in Africa, including Rwanda, Cote d'Ivoire, Malawi, and Ethiopia, and in the Northern Hemisphere, in the Western Hemisphere, in Haiti, and several in the United States. I invite you to learn more about Buddhist Global Relief by going to our website, which you can find at www.buddhistglobalrelief as one word.org. And now, just to conclude this little introductory talk, I want to wish you all a very fruitful and insightful gathering in Perth, and I hope that many beneficial ideas will emerge at this conference. So, to conclude, I wish all of the blessings of the Triple Gem upon you. Thank you very much.